History is often learned through books and documents, but in many communities, the past lives in memory and spoken testimony. This is especially true for places like Igbobi Sabe, a historic Yoruba town in what is now Lagos State, Nigeria. Igbobi Sabe lies within the metropolitan Yaba area of Lagos. Its people trace their origins far back in time, long before the city-like urban environment that surrounds it today. According to local tradition, the community was founded centuries ago when a forebear named Sabe, a great hunter and descendant of Oduduwa, the legendary progenitor of the Yoruba, migrated from Ile-Ife and settled here in a kolanut grove called Igbobi. Over time, this name evolved into what we now call Igbobi Sabe. Igbobi Sabe's history is not widely documented in formal archives. Much of what is known comes from oral traditions and community memory, collected from elders who remember stories passed through generations. This is what makes oral history so valuable. It captures lived experience, social identity, and cultural memory preserved by the people themselves. Today, Igbobi Sabe is known for its cultural heritage, particularly the Galede Festival. The Galede Masquerade is a traditional Yoruba performance that honors motherhood, social harmony, and the spiritual powers associated with women. Though the festival had declined for many years, it was revived recently to reconnect the community with its cultural roots and mark its identity in a rapidly modernizing world. As Lagos grew into a bustling city, Igbobi Sabe transformed too. Land that was once forest and farmland became part of the urban fabric. Today, institutions like educational centers, hospitals, and residential areas stand where ancient paths once led. Yet, the memory of the town's origins remains alive in the voices of its people. In this documentary, we listen to those voices. We rely on oral testimony, the personal recollections of community elders, storytellers, and cultural custodians. Oral history is not about asserting a single authoritative truth. Instead, it shows how a community understands itself, its roots, its transformations, and the meanings people attach to the stories they remember and pass on. Historians recognize that memory can differ, yet each account helps us piece together a richer, more human understanding of the past. What follows is not a textbook history of Igbobi Sabe. It is a history in the words of those who remember, a tapestry of voices shaping what this place has meant over time. This is the oral history of Igbobi Sabe.
Ademola Abdulatif Ademola Salami. I am the first son of the first recognized traditional ruler of this community. My grandfather was the first paramount ruler of this community. But in those days, people sit down and say, "You are our king." But the first traditional ruler, recognized traditional ruler with government staff of office, was my late father. When he joined his ancestors, the town's kingmakers, chiefs, and community leader, after a prolonged consultation, competition, they decided that I should be their king. But in Nigeria of today, politics tend to override most of our culture and traditional institution. That is By the way, I was the elected king of this community. I am a retired police officer, married with good and brilliant children, gifted children. Igbobi Sabe is an ancient town. And the meaning of Igbobi Sabe it is a town called Igbobi. Igbobi. It covers from here to Old Yaba Road, the whole of University of your campus. Akoka, up to George, that is Onipan, to the railway line, to Ojuelegba, because it was in Ojuelegba we had what is called Oshaoluwa, so they call Oju Oshaoluwa. Ojuelegbara. Elegbara is another name for Eshu. That is where the ancient people put their Eshu idol. Igbobi Sabe was founded about 1784. By an hunter. When he came, he was a hunter and herbalist. He immigrated from Kilibo in Abeokuta. They originally left Ife together with Alaketu. When they rested in Abeokuta, the Alaketu then share his belongings among his sons and daughters. This great hunter, known as Mefun Opo, left Kilibo to one place in Abeokuta called Okeata. At Okeata, he met another hunter and a priest called Adoyi Abogun, now known as Ode Alashe. They sojourned together. Adoyi has been here, he settled here. Then Adoyi now apportioned all this area to Mefun. When they came as hunter, this place had no name. So, it is a forest with trees bearing one type of red fruit that monkeys, Yoruba call monkeys, Edu. The whole of this area to your school. Even if you move to some swampy area in your school, you still see monkeys. Igbobi Edu, that is the forest of monkey kola nut. That's where the name, that's where they derived that name. So when they want to leave the upland Ojuoye to call Eja lọ sí Igbobi Edu. So with time, the Edu went away. It remained Igbobi. It's not the kola nut we chop. It is the kola nut that monkeys take. about 1847 or thereabouts, when the Portuguese European came in. You know, they are very adventurous. They move upland, met people here. They interacted. They were interested in their trade, because they trade on bushmeat, herbs, and roots. And they find their way through, they navigate through the lagoon to your school and came here and met people. And they tried to be friends with them. Fast forward to the First World War, when the West African Frontier Forces wounded soldiers were brought down to Lagos. There's no better place to keep them. That was when the idea of that Atom Cemetery came. Atom Cemetery was being used as a military cemetery, not as a public cemetery. From there, the Royal Orthopedic Hospital, because they were called Royal Frontier Forces. So that hospital was established. Its initial name was Royal Orthopedic Hospital. It was built by planks, treated wood. As time goes by, the woody structure starts giving way to permanent structure. Then come the Yaba College. Now Yaba College of Technology. Most of our prominent men attended that institution, including the great Nnamdi Azikiwe. Yaba was part of this community. It is not Yaba, but because the white man cannot produce Yaba, around 1947, there was serious rampage of leprosy around Lagos colony and some part of Ogun State. The British master, the colonial master there, then decided to look for a place to treat lepers. That present psychiatric and this surrounding environment was required for leprosy center. It was from that leprosy center that they transformed into psychiatric hospital. Because in those days, wherever lepers are kept, they don't allow people to live there. So they now acquire it as a government health research center. So the people there migrated back to join their brothers here. When tuberculosis too become too infectious, they brought IDH. Immediately after the Second World War, they looked for a place to distribute food and non-perishable something. the present Sabe market was used as a control center where people go. So they ration salt, they ration corn meal, they ration dry stockfish and share it like the way Caritas in the Catholic do. After peace returned, that place was converted to market. This community has witnessed a lot of development because of the government acquisition and the presence of institutions like University of Lagos. We have our college now that become we have our College of Technology, the Army Barrack, the military hospital, the orthopedic, another federal government institution. It was a very large community, but the acquisition reduced it to this smaller place you are seeing. And the community has been very peaceful, in fact, peace-loving people. Our forefathers' stock and trade was hunting, herbalists, they trade on herbs and roots. When they gather herbs from the forest up to Igbobi, every Monday, they take it to Ebute Elefu, now Ebute Road. They go by leg from here to Ido, from where they join ferry across the lagoon. So from there, we develop a very good rapport with the islanders. And they are good people, they are good in music and gelede dance. After they try to marry, and when they start to beat the drum, the then above Lagos, the great grandfather of late Oba Adeyinka Oyekon became interested in them to the extent that he got married to one of our great grandmother here, named Galiatu, and who later gave birth to the father of late Oba Adeyinka Oyekon the first, who happened to the grandfather of Adeyinka Oyekon the second. We become in-laws. From here, Gelede was, he loved the Gelede dance that he requested it to be brought down to Lagos. Our forefathers, the settlers here before the advent of Christian and Islamic faith, were predominantly pagans. They worship Ogun, Shango, Oya, Alubua, Oshaoluwa, which is Shopono, and Eshu, among other idols. Before some later decided to embrace Islam and Christian faiths. In those days, there are known wrestlers, well-known wrestlers. They engage in wrestling competition And they also love the good things of life. They love enjoyment. Every weekend, when they come back from a retail level, now I do Ebutero. They sing, they drum, dance, and drink. Some of them practice herbalists. Some later engage in skill trade, like carpentry, mostly carpentry, plumbing, and they took employment with Nigerian Railways, Taylor Woodrow, G. Kappa, and Costain, West Africa. Those who had little education were employed by the Post and Telegraph Department, P&T. And they love to train their kids to attain a good education. So we have many professionals in this community, medical doctors, builders, lawyers, and civil servants who rose the highest pinnacle of their various chosen profession. And the Igbobi College, lest I forget, awarded their pioneer Cambridge students was from this community. The best mathematics student was from here. We have great footballers. Some senior military officers, customs, and so forth.
I'm Chief Adewale Abiodun Abayomi Owoyemi, the leader of Igbobi Sabe Kingdom, Yaba, Lagos. People from Igbobi Sabe, originally they are from Ife, right? Because they moved from Ife to where we call K2. K2 is now in Republic of Benin, right? It's from there they moved down to Lagos Island. They were there for some years before they now settled down to Igbobi Sabe here. And when you're talking of Igbobi Sabe is formerly at where we call Igbari, that is Akoka side, Abule Oja, Abule Jesha, right? Up to that Iwaya side, down to Bariga, down to Shomulu. It was when the government wanted to use some places in Igbobi Sabe, they now moved them down to the present Igbobi Sabe. Because that WAEC office, Igbobi Sabe, the College of Tech is Igbobi Sabe, 68 Armed Forces, Igbobi Sabe, IDH is Igbobi Sabe. So Federal Science and Technical is Igbobi Sabe. Federal College of Education is Igbobi Sabe. So government now paid them money. They gave them compensation, right, for the places they wanted to use. After giving them money, they now moved down to this present Igbobi Sabe. We have Gelede /Efe. That's the lineage. That is what they are doing. You know, in some places they have a Egungun masquerade. In other place they have the Igunu. You know, all that. But in Igbobi Sabe is Kelede/Efe. That's the only thing they're doing there. You know, so and they know them for that. That is normally we have Gelede and Efe in some other places, like Lagos Island, like Alausa, Mulero, Shasha, Otojanikin, another thing like that, another. But out of all this, Igbobi Sabe have been given a registered certificate and giving the head to all other Geledes in the Lagos state. Igbobi Sabe is the head presently. In those days, it's not much, unlike now, that we normally pay by 5 million, 500 million, but in those days, they will just ask you to throw stone, right? Is where your stones bounce and stand there. That is from here to that place. That is where your land belongs to. And they will tell you, go and bring one bottle of shinap, kola nut, and just small money on it. Small money. Yes. You see, we have some houses. We have ruling houses in Igbobi Sabe. So traditional title were given to some houses, the indigent, real indigent. The traditional chief is different from ordinary, chief, right? You see, honorary can be given to anybody. According to your contribution to that Igbobi Sabe, they can give you this, give you that, but there are some traditional title which cannot be given out, but to the indigent, like Lisa, Aro, Odofin, all those. They are, traditional. Okay, my own personal role as a Lisa, fine. Let me say it's purely administration, right? And secondly, I have to always work towards what the king will be doing or the instructions he'll be passing. I have to carry them out. The instructions from him, I have to, and spread it to all other chiefs and ballets. Do you understand? So it is what he gives out, I follow. What he do, I step behind him for the progress of the kingdom. Yes, in those days, in the olden days, the leadership is given to those who are old, right? If you're an old person, they say, okay, you become ballet of this side, you become ballet of those side, you become ballet of so just to manage the area, they put you there. That is how they do it in those days. So old age, and they make sure you are responsible before they give you that particular post. As I was saying, yeah, it depends on the kind, the type of Oba you have. You see, when you have an educated Oba, who is even cultured, so it will surely improve the kingdom because it's a learned person with the wisdom, with the ability given to him by the God. We have a very free relationship with the local government, the state government, and even the federal government. So that's how we are managing to improve the living, the standard of the kingdom. The first higher institution in Nigeria is Yaba College of Tech, right? Now, you see, Igbobi Sabe is well blessed, very well blessed. I can say we are educationists because Igbobi Sabe is surrounded by schools, colleges, universities, right? Then we have University of Lagos, Eba College of Tech, Federal Science and Technical, Federal College of Education, WAEC, the only WAEC is here. So Igbobi Sabe is blessed, purely blessed, purely blessed. So that's why we have close relationship with those higher institutions. So all our children, either the indigene or the outsiders, they have opportunity not to go far before they can go to learning school. They go very close to them. It's just, even from here to University of Lagos, you can just trek it. Within 30 minutes, you get there. So we are blessed. Why some people will come right from Abeokuta to come and attend university here, Abi? But we here, we have those things around us, surrounding the kingdom.